Good morning everyone, presenting you our chosen company, which is the Unilever in United Kingdom. In this report, we will cover the Unilever's profile and their capital budget. Unilever was founded on September 2, 1929 by the merger of the Dutch margarine producer Margarine Oni and the British soap maker Lever Brothers. During the second half of the 20th century, the company increasingly diversified from being a maker of products made of oils and fats and expanded its operations worldwide. Unilever owns over 400 brands with a turnover in 2020 of 51 billion euros. Capital budgeting is a method of analyzing and comparing substantial future investments and expenditures to determine which ones are most worthwhile. It's a process that company uses to identify what capital projects will create the biggest return to compared with the funds invested in the project. Most business future goals include expanding their operations. This is difficult to do if the company doesn't have enough capital or fixed assets. That is where capital budgeting comes into play. That is why managers use the present value of future cash flows when deciding what to buy or invest. This may help them analyze the current and future cash inflows and outflows equally to come up with the best plan in the future. After 10 or to be exact, on 2030, the Unilever plans to invest in an emission project of them as part of their capital expenditure. One of the capital budgeting technique that they are using is the net present value, wherein they compute for present value and compare it to the future value. Present value is computed using the net cash flow of the company and the expected annual return from the expenditure. And since we cannot find any pro forma or forecasted cash flow of the company, we just made an example using estimated values. First, they plan to invest 1 billion euro and we assume that the useful life of this project is 10 years. So meaning it's from 2030 up until 2039. For the year 2039, you will see that the target ending value of the annual return is 300 million euros. And we estimated and assume that they will have a net cash flow of 200 million euros every year. For the year 2039, you will see that it is a total of 500 million euros since the target ending value is added to the estimated annual return. To compute the present value of the annual return from the expenditure, we are going to discount this estimated value with 7.4%. The Unilever company sets their discount ranging from 6% to 7.4%. It is to compute the discounted value of the annual cash flow. Now, to compute for the net present value discounted with the 7.4%, add all of the discounted value from 2030 up to 2039 and deduct the initial value of the investment, which is the 1 billion euro. You will see that the NPV is positive, meaning they can continue this project, but these estimations are not that accurate. Of course, these are estimates only. In actual, the returns may go up or down depending on the factors that affects the project or investment. If the NPV is negative, meaning they will reject this project. Unilever set out a new range of measures and commitments designed to improve the health of the planet by taking even more decisive action to fight climate change and protect and regenerate nature to preserve resources for future generations. Unilever will achieve net zero emissions from all of their products by 2039. Alan Jope, Unilever CEO, said that while the world is dealing with the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and grappling with serious issues of inequality, we can't let ourselves forget that the climate crisis is still a threat to all of us. Climate change, nature degradation, biodiversity decline, water scarcity. All of these issues are interconnected, and we must address them all simultaneously. In doing so, we must also recognize that the climate crisis is not only an environmental emergency, it also has a terrible impact on lives and livelihoods.
Unilever has many of the world's strongest brands across the beauty, personal care, home care, and food product categories. The company is slowly and successfully executing on its strategy to pivot more heavily towards its high margin beauty and personal care unit, while it's also improving profitability in the other two categories, which is home and care and the food and refreshments. Management is doing all that while also running a relatively lower business integration risk and betting on brands with purpose that also have significant online presence. The recent pandemic has had a mixed impact on the company's operations, but it now appears that Unilever would more likely benefit from the recent events over the long term as large parts of its business, such as hygiene and in-home cooking, have been benefited from the pandemic, while the negative impact on laundry, personal care, and prestige segments has not been as profound. In addition to the company's iconic brands, in-home and personal care, and packaged food sectors, and the opportunity presented by the recent pandemic, there are three other solid reasons why Unilever appears as an attractive long-term investment.